Hey, welcome back to the Big Ranch Show. As always, thank you for joining me. If you could, hit the subscribe button down below and let's get right to it. Now, I'm going to do something a little different this time. I'm going to cover two topics instead of just one. We're going to try and do a little longer form video here and try to see if we can get ourselves back in the recommended. I took a week off around Christmas time when I was getting about 15, 20 views a video, it seemed like. Now I'm getting like 2 or 3. So it appears to me that we're not getting into the recommendeds even based on the analytics and everything. So here we go. I'm going to try something a little different and we'll see what happens. First off, I want to make a statement or put out my thoughts on the thing that's been going across the social media world and across the internet as of late. Back at the Golden Globes, Oprah made a rather passionate speech about women in movies and media and things like that. And as it was a big thing about the Me Too movement and all that stuff, and that's kind of what the night was about. For a lot of the women that were there and a lot of the people that were there, they were dressed in black, apparently to support the Me Too movement and the people that have been done wrong and sexually harassed or sexually assaulted in Hollywood. And in her speech, though, she talked about all these different things, and by the time it was over, people made the assumption that possibly she's going to run for president in 2020. Her boyfriend, a longtime boyfriend, had said that it's very possible that it's likely that she was thinking about making a run for president in 2020. Personally, I don't see this as a good idea. One, we already see what happens when we have a celebrity in office who really has no idea how government works. At the end of the day, you want somebody in the White House, whether they've been there for a while or not, you want somebody that's at least, been through the system a little bit, at least knows the system, knows how to get things done, and knows how not to tweet us into war. Now, we've had all these problems with Donald Trump and his tweets and making America look bad. And I don't think Oprah would do the same thing. I think she's a classier person. But at the same time, she doesn't know the government. She'd make all these promises, much like Donald Trump, much like, a lot of politicians do. But just like Donald Trump made grandiose things, and then when he gets in there, he realizes he can't just write laws. So you have to know how the system works. I would rather somebody be in the White House that's been fighting for the middle class, that's been fighting for the underdog their entire lives, but also knows how to get it done in the government. It's the only problem I have with Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders has been a rabid supporter of the middle class and civil rights and all those things. But based on his record, he hasn't got a lot through. And so I think that would make it hard for him to be president, because obviously he's had a hard time getting a lot of his views through. But at the same time, he at least knows the system. He knows how to make it work. I don't think Oprah, just like Donald Trump, I don't think Oprah would know how to get the job done. I don't think she's made for the job. I think the job would be too stressful and too much, too heart-wrenching at the end of the day. Because it takes a special kind of person to be president. It takes somebody that can not just work for themselves or for their own group of people, but somebody that can, after the president, you have to be the president for all Americans. You can't just be a president for celebrities or for billionaires or for whatever. You have to work for all Americans. And I don't think a lot of these celebrity people understand that. Also, I don't think that she would understand, the subtle, intricate nature of the things she has to get done on a daily basis. I'm not saying she would be a terrible president. I'm not saying that she couldn't be a good president. I'm saying I don't think this is a good idea. I don't think another billionaire celebrity as president is a great way to go. I just don't think it is. Now, there are differences between Oprah and Donald Trump. Donald Trump was born with a silver spoon in his mouth, given millions of dollars by his father. and by all accounts should have been a lot richer than he is now. And then you have Oprah. Oprah, who's a self-made person, came up from nothing, a true rags to riches story. And she's definitely proof that in America you can start at the bottom and get to the top. As long as you have the it factor, I suppose. The it factor being the drive and the talent to do the things that you need to get done to do what you want to do. So I do commend Oprah on that, and I think she would be more tame. I think she'd be less likely to start a war. But at the same time, I don't think she would necessarily understand policy. I know Donald Trump sure as hell doesn't seem to understand policy. The way Donald Trump ran his campaign, the way he acted once he took office, he's acted as if he thought he was going to be able to just win the White House, go to the White House, and then he would write laws, and Congress would rubber stamp them. That's not how it works. That's not how America works. Just ask our last president, who dealt with that for 8 years, where he went into the White House thinking he'd be able to get a lot done. And even though he knew the system, he was blocked on a lot of things. And that's just how it goes. That's the nature of politics. Especially the nature of politics these days. So, do I think Oprah could be a good president? Sure. Do I think she should run for president? No. I don't think it's a win for the Democrats. I do not believe it's a winning ticket with Oprah on the ticket. I don't think she wins. I don't think she beats Donald Trump. Same thing with most other celebrities that could fall on the Democratic side. I don't think they beat Donald Trump. You know, I guess if there was going to be one that could, maybe Oprah would do it. Probably Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson would be more likely to beat Donald Trump, I think. Just because of the outright charisma. But at the same time, I don't think that's a great idea either. Because there again, he wouldn't really know the intricate details and intricate things that have to get done in everything. You can think you're going to be a great president, but if you don't know how the government works, you're going to have a very hard time. So I don't care who it is. I don't care if they're a billionaire that runs. I don't care if they're poor. I don't care middle class. I don't care who they are. As long as they have an actual knowledge of how the government works, then maybe that would be a better call than an Oprah or a celebrity of some sort. But that all said, at the end of the day, if it turned out to be Oprah versus Trump running in 2020, then by all means, I would definitely vote for Oprah over Donald Trump, because I view Donald Trump as a clear and present danger to the republic. And as such, I believe that Oprah would be better than Donald Trump, even though I would hate the ticket and I think the ticket would lose. And I really, really do not want in our entire 8 years of this unstable maniac in the White House. Anyhow, moving on. It's still in politics here. It's another little rant here on some recent developments in politics. Apparently, it is now just normal for criminals to want to run for Congress. You have 2 criminals running for Senate. One in Arizona, running for Jeff Flake's seat. That being Joe Arpaio. Of course, he's a man that's been accused of a lot of heinous things. You know, he's been found guilty by a court, and then he was pardoned by Donald Trump. He's found guilty in a court of law for basically obstructing justice and denying people their civil rights. As sheriff of Maricopa County there in Arizona, he has systematically denied people their civil rights. The Supreme Court has said so. The legal system has said so. The court has said so. So Joe Arpaio is a terrible person by all measures here. He's denied people their civil rights. I'm not. I don't like the way necessarily how he runs his prison, or his jail. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to hate on him for that. There's enough to hate on him aside from how they run that prison or that jail, whatever you want to call it. But what I do take issue with is his violation of other people's civil rights. The fact that he made a pregnant woman give birth in shackles. It's already hard enough for a woman to be pushing out a baby to begin with, but then you have her do it shackled, and that's got to be difficult. Also, though, it's also been reported, along with things that he's done to deny people their civil rights, making the woman give birth in shackles, it's the fact that he is, according to some reports, he has burned a dog alive. Not just burned a dog, but did it in front of the dog's family, the people that the dog belonged to. And he didn't care. He didn't care what he had done, according to the reports I've read on that. But Joe Arpaio has been found guilty of violating people's civil rights, of violating court orders to stop violating people's civil rights. And it is obvious that Joe Arpaio is not, and I repeat, not a great candidate for Congress or for the Senate. How is a guy who has systematically violated the law going to be able to, dispense the law and expect other people to actually follow it? Hopefully, whoever runs against Joe Arpaio will win. I don't care if there's a primary. I don't care if it's another Republican. The one thing we have to do is keep Joe Arpaio out of the United States Senate. Case closed. I don't care if you need to support a Republican in the district or in the state, or if you want to support the Democrat. Whatever we have to do to make sure Joe Arpaio is not one of the senators from Arizona, it has to be done. All within the form. Of course, that's all within the means of politics. Do it at the voter box. Donate money to the candidates you can. Get out there and call people if you need to. Do what you need to. But Joe Arpaio, as senator from Arizona, would do nothing but harm this country and harm the civil rights of people he doesn't agree with. And he would use his power, I am sure, to go after his enemies, which he has many. And lastly, here on this same story, it's the other criminal that is running for office is running as a Democrat in the state of Virginia, I believe. Formerly known as Bradley Manning, now Chelsea Manning. And Chelsea Manning, of course, the same person that disseminated sensitive and classified information from our U.S. military to WikiLeaks founder Julian Assange. And that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. He violated the trust of this country once before. He gave out information to WikiLeaks. Put a lot of people in danger by releasing it. Put a lot of information into the hands of our enemies. And then she now anyway, wants to run for Senate. Now, Manning is running as a Democrat. You'd think, oh, well, it's a Democrat. Obviously, you support him. No, I don't. And I will not support Chelsea Manning in her bid for Congress. I will not do it. I believe Manning to be a traitor. I believe Manning to be a criminal who's already been found guilty by in a military court. He was and he was pardoned by past President Barack Obama. I completely disagreed with her being pardoned. I thought it was terrible, and I still think it's terrible. This person was a criminal, was trusted with sensitive information, and gave it to WikiLeaks. Put a lot of people in danger. At the end of the day, if I was to support somebody for Congress or whatever, I want to be able to at least try to trust them. Sorry about that. I want to try to trust them. At least until they prove me the other way around. Until they prove to me that they're a lying piece of scum. But this person can't be trusted. Chelsea Manning cannot be trusted with the sensitive information that she would come across in Congress. She cannot be trusted not to give it to our foreign enemies, or not giving it to WikiLeaks, or not giving it to some other whistleblower organization. Now, I understand that, some of the information that was gleaned was good to get out. Okay? I get that. But the problem is that this person was trusted to keep secret and not go releasing to people. If you're going to release it, maybe you should have released it to American outlets and not to some international, basically, spy group. At the end of the day, Chelsea Manning is a criminal who was trusted with information and then gave it away. I do not support Chelsea Manning. I don't care if you want to call Chelsea Manning a whistleblower or whatever you want to call her. I will call her a criminal, and I will continue to believe her to be a criminal. I don't care if there was, if Manning had a sex change. I don't give a damn. Okay? I don't care. Just because I support people that are transgendered in their rights, I do not have to support a criminal for Congress, whether it's for Democrat or not. I hope there's a Democratic challenger in the primary, and I hope Chelsea Manning loses that primary. Anyhow, that's been the Big Rant Show for today, and I hope you're having a great day, and I'll see you down the road.